What's up, fool? So as I'm sure most of you know, Mr. Stone number 2 is about to come out. But not everybody's seen Mr. Stone number 1, but that's where I got you, dog. I'm gonna tell you fools exactly what happened in Mr. Stone number 1 so that you don't gotta go back and watch like all 100 something episodes. You don't have to watch all of it. So, in Mr. Stone number 1, you got this fool. This fool is un paisa. This fool, like, I know you're probably thinking, hey, why don't you start with Mr. Stone, fool? And I'm gonna tell you, dog, it's because they showed him first, and that's it. That's really the only reason why. One day this fool's like, hey, sabes que, I'm gonna tell my hyena what's up. I'm gonna say I love you. But then the seaweed attack or something. I don't know what it is. It looked like seaweed. It came flying through the sky. It was this horrible thing. Everybody got turned to rock and they all got locked up. So Mr. Stone is like, sabes que, way, I'm gonna start counting. And he's counting and he's counting and he's counting. And everybody's like, hey, wait, why are you doing that? And he's like, shh, counting, fool. I'm like, okay, pues cálmate, güey, I'm counting. After for like a bajillion years, this fool wakes up and he's like, chales, fool, I'm done being locked up. I'm gonna break out. And he breaks out and he's gonna go get his homie out of the pen. And he's like, hey, wait, you need to get up, fool. I got some magic bat pee and you're gonna be okay. So he covers that fool in bat pee, but I guess that fool been locked up so long, he's kind of like numb to it now or whatever. Eventually, this fool gets that fool out of the pen and he's like, what's up then? So this fool goes looking for his homie who's been getting like stuck by monkeys or whatever. And he's like, hey, wait, we need to save my hyena. And he's like, órale pues, I got you, fool, don't worry. So this fool comes out with like a gallon of the bat pee. And he's thinking to himself, okay, we gotta go find this fool's hyena first because I don't know where she is. They go looking for her and she's stuck in a tree like a cat. And they're like, okay, well, ahí está. We're gonna get her out that tree, fool, don't even worry about it. And right as they're about to get the hyena out the tree, they notice that there's a bunch of lions all over the place. This is where Mr. Stone's big brain comes in. He noticed that there was some fool behind him that was also stuck in a tree and still locked up. And he's like, I'm gonna cover this fool in bat pee and he's gonna pop up like crazy and we're gonna use this fool as bait. So he turns around and he gets him right in the face. And he's like, why you cover me in bat pee, fool? He's like, hey, wait, we're surrounded by lions. And he's like, I don't care. Why you cover me in bat pee? He's like, Nina, fool, chill. But hey, we need these lions taken care of. And he's like, okay, I'll take out my anger on them. And he's like, okay, good, go for it. Go take out your anger on those fools. I'm over here thinking this fool's gonna die. How you gonna fight a lion, fool? But he does, and he gets him like that. He punches the lion right in the face, and it's like, ah! And I'm like, oh shit, fool! This fool's gonna punch a lion. And he punched the other one, and I was like, dude, this fool's like crazy. Like, hey, you know what? Serio though, this fool, you should probably keep an eye on him. If he could kill a lion, he's probably gonna kill you too. So that happened, and then he's like at the beach episode now. He's like, Mr. Horny over here is all, my lady, she's still stuck in the trees. And he's like, fool, chill, dog. We got more bat pee. It's just gonna take a little bit. Calm down, okay? It's not like she's gonna die or anything. She just locked up for a little bit. He's like, but my lady. And he's like, cálmate, wey, fuck. He's like, okay, pues. I'm gonna go talk to Rambo over here and see what's up. He's like, go talk to Rambo. I don't care. He's like, órale, pues. So he goes over and he talks to Rambo. And he's like, hey, Rambo, what you doing, fool? And he's like, we in the beach episode and there's no hyenas? What is this? And I'm thinking, hey, he's kind of got a point, huh? This is where things go crazy. He says, hey, Mr. Smarts, Mr. Stones, tell me something, fool. And he's like, I tell you something, what's up? And he's like, tell me what you trying to do, fool. You crazy smart, but what you trying to do? He's like, fool, I'm gonna get everybody out the pen. Don't even trip. And he's like, fool, are you sure you want to get everybody out the pen? Some people, you know, they're kind of in there for a reason. He's like, nah, fool, this ain't even right, dog. The freaking seaweed, it came out of nowhere and it got everybody and it put all of us in the pen. Fool, there were some kids in there too, dog. How a little kid gonna do something where they should be locked up for life, fool? And he's like, fool, you can't be doing this, fool. We gotta get them all out the pen. And he's like, nah, way. And he's like, what you mean, nah? And he's like, nah, way, listen. If we get everybody out the pen, that means that the people who should be in the pen are gonna get out too. And he's like, I don't care, fool. Let them out. And he's like, yeah? And he's like, yeah, fool, I don't care. And he's like, mira. I don't know who you think you are, fool, but I'm not gonna let you do that. As soon as I figure out how you do this with your letting people out the pen, I'm gonna take over and I'm gonna take you out. And I'm like, ¿Qué te dije, cabrón? ¿Qué chingados te dije? That fool was gonna kill you. And he's like, yeah, fool, I'm gonna kill you. So that happens. And he's like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna just take you out and figure it out myself. And he's like, nah, wait, chill. Ain't no reason to do all that craziness. That we still gotta get the hyena out the tree. And he's like, okay. You go get the hyena out the tree. And when you're done doing that, then we could sit down and, you know, we could maybe have a little conversation and we could see what's up and we'll see what the hyena thinks about it. Because right now, this isn't exactly a democracy. He's like, okay, fool, you go do that thing. I'm gonna go get the hyena who got stuck in the tree. So they go and they save that one hyena who's stuck in the tree. And then comes Lover Boy out of nowhere. Bien dramático está. Or something like that. I can't remember what he yelled. And I'm like, okay, fool, chill. She's fine. Look at her. She, like, her legs are still there and everything. It's whatever. But this is where things get a little crazy. You see, because as soon as she wakes up, Mr. Stone, he looks at her and he's like, I'm gonna tell you what's up, okay? And she's like, okay. And he's like, okay. I'm gonna tell you that you gotta make a choice. Either you take off running the putizas, or you kick it here, and you probably die. And she's like, what? She's like, then why you let me out the pen, fool? At least when I was a rock, I wasn't gonna die. And Paisa's like, hey, fool, chill, it's whatever. Mr. Stone's super smart. And she's like, nah, chales, I could almost die right now, fool. Why would I want to do this? This is where things get even more crazy, because Mr. Stone is like, ¿sabes qué? Since I could tell you two are kind of in the middle of a thing, I'm gonna go make a bomb, and I'm gonna blow that fool up, okay? And they're like, oh, serio? And he's like, yeah, fool, I'm gonna make a bomb. And he's like, órale, pues, let's go make a bomb then. We'll kick it with you. He's like, okay, cool, let's go. Let's just stop for a quick second, because I know what you're thinking right now. You're probably thinking, how's this fool gonna make a bomb? They don't have wires. They don't have, like, gunpowder. They don't have plastic. How are you gonna make a bomb, fool? But this is where it gets crazy, because Mr. Stone is so smart. This fool's like, I know exactly what I need to make a bomb. And he gets a bunch of rocks together. And he's like, okay, I got these rocks and I got those rocks, and we're gonna squish them together, and with more rocks, and just a lot of rocks involved in this entire anime. So if you don't like rocks, you probably shouldn't watch it. And he's like, yeah, rocks. But things go sideways, because El Paisa over here, Mr. Muscles and No Brains, goes boom, and he blows up everybody. And I'm just like, fool, serio? You just told Rambo where you are, fool. Why you do that? And he's like, hey, fool, chill. You're not even part of the anime. But that is where the twist comes in, because after their big explosion, some out of nowhere, just they see another fire. And I'm thinking it's Rambo. He's letting you know where he is, so you guys could be afraid. You know, he's over there and he's gonna come over here and he's gonna kick your butt. And that's gonna be the end of the story. But no, that's not what it is. Because Mr. Stone over here with this super big head, he's like, hey, fool, that's probably some other vatos that got out the pen. He's like, hey, serio, huh? And I'm like, wait, what? Why, what? And they're like, nah, fool, nah, listen. Those are some of the other homies. We're gonna get them, and then we're gonna jump Rambo. And I'm just like, okay, good luck jumping Rambo. He punched a lion, if you forget. So Mr. Stone says, here's the plan. We're gonna send El Paisa out to go find whoever it was, while me and the hyena, or his hyena, are gonna kick it here by ourselves in the middle of the forest with nobody around. Don't trip, dog. It's gonna be fine. Nothing bad could possibly ever happen, ever and foreverness. And just like that, something bad happens, because in comes Rambo. He's seen the explosion, obviously. It's a freaking bomb in the middle of nowhere. And he's like, okay, that's where those fools are. I'm gonna go kick it over there. I'm gonna say what's up. And then I'm gonna go take out that one vato. So this fool just straight books it. I mean, he's basically the Terminator. So he's like, pew, 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 pew. And there he goes running all fast, while El Paisa's looking around for some random homies that got out the pen early. And I'm just like, fool, Mr. Brains, Mr. Stone, what are you doing, fool? Why? Yeah, there might be some homies out, but by the time this fool gets there, this other fool, Terminator, Rambo, hybrid Chihuahua over here is gonna come and kill you, fool. What you doing? What kind of plan is this? So everything goes basically how you would expect it to go. Rambo, Terminator, Chihuahua hybrid over here pops up out of nowhere. He takes, La Jaina's by the throat, and he's like, hey, fool, I'm gonna give you an ultimatum. You give up? You say you're never gonna do the science no more? And it's all good. And he's like, fool, I can't do that, dog. I'm a lot of things, but a liar ain't one of them, fool. I can't do that. And he's like, dog, I'm trying to tell you, fool, if you don't do what you're trying to do, try and get everybody out the pen, then everything's gonna be okay, fool. You could live, it's whatever. We'll look past this. Me and you could be homies, dog. We could make rockets and go to fiestas. I think my sister's quince is coming up. I'll invite you to that, fool. Come on. Why you gotta be like this? He's like, nah, güey, it's just not gonna happen, fool. I can't. And he's like, ka-chow! And he karate chops him in the back of the throat. So El Paisa's got like that sixth sense thing going on right now. He knows that his homie's dead. And he takes off. He goes booking it straight to where his homie died. And he gets up to his homie and he's like, hey, fool, what happened, dog? And I'm just like, fool, he's dead. He's like, come on, fool, wake up. What you doing? With the pinche Rambo's over here. Why are you pretending to be asleep, ese? And he's like, fool, I'm not pretending, dog. I'm dead. I'm like actually dead right now. There's no pretending in this. And the Jaina's like, ¿sabes que sí está bien pendejo, verdad? And I'm just like, yeah, I told you, but you're into him, so whatever. You got bad taste in men. And she's like, and I'm like, don't look at me like that. So I'm thinking, this fool's never gonna get it. And right as I think that, this fool gets it. And he's like, oh, Mr. Stone, you're dead, fool. And Mr. Stone's like, yeah, no duh, fool. That's what I've been saying for like the past 20 minutes. And I'm like, me too, fool. Don't even trip. So El Paisa is like, I'm gonna take this fool out. And La Jaina's like, no, don't do it. And I'm like, serio, fool, what's going on? I don't even know anymore. And then this fool picks up a big rock. And I'm like, what you gonna do with that, fool? I thought you said we were like one of those pacifiers or whatever. And he's like, Mr. Stone, trust me to save his life. And I'm like, fool, you kind of failed, fool. Just saying, you kind of screwed that up. And he's like, pass. And he hits the floor with the rock. And then there's another explosion. And I'm just sitting here like, what the is going on? And they take off running. And Rambo's like, ¿sabes qué? I'm gonna let these fools leave. It's not even worth it anymore. It's not like these two could do anything. And I'm like, you're probably gonna regret that, fool. Just letting you know, that's usually what the bad guy says before everything goes sideways. But then comes the dramatic music. Because Mr. Stone is dead, and now it's raining, and they're screaming, and there's flashbacks. And La Jaina, she says something like, hey, this fool's kind of, he's been screwing around with his neck a lot, and I don't remember him doing that before. And he's like, hey, that's true, huh? He's like, I seen that too. He's like, yeah, there might be something to that. And there was. Apparently, this fool wasn't complete, like he broke out, but he still had like one of those ankle bracelet things. And he was trying to tell them that he still had the ankle bracelet. And that, I don't know, the seaweed knew something that was going on. And so they get the bat pee and they just pour it on his neck. And he's like, oh, I'm awake. And I'm like, otra vez con esto. And he's like, yeah, we need to, come up with a plan. Because este güey, he's gonna like go crazy, fool. He doesn't want everybody to get out the pen. And she's like, well, why do you want everybody to get out the pen? And he's like, hey. The only thing you've done so far is be a hostage, okay? I don't want to hear nothing from you. But Mr. Stone is like crazy smart, okay? So he goes and he's like, check it. I want you two to go kick it with the fool who just killed me. And I'm gonna go look for all the homies that just got out the pen. And we're gonna make an army. You fools are gonna be my spies. So we'll see each other later. But I'm gonna go find the homies and we're gonna make an army and we're gonna go to war. So now this fool's walking through the forest. And that's where he finds a real Jaina. Not this other Jaina, she's like whatever. This one is like, what's up? Because she could do like some crazy things. She try and fight that big fool who punched a lion. But yeah, so she got stuck under a tree. Maybe not the best idea to fight someone who goes by Rambo, the Lion Hunter, El Chihuahua Fuerte. Maybe not do that kind of stuff. Not the smartest idea because then you get stuck underneath a tree. But it don't even matter because Mr. Brains over here, he knows what's up. He knows that this must be one of the homies that got out, even though they don't have like the cracked up face and whatever. And she's like, hey fool, you're that fool who's dead, huh? And he's like, do I know you? And she's like, nah, but I'm kind of stuck under a tree and I seen you die, so I think you could do magic. You want to help me get out from underneath this tree? And he's like, okay, sure, why not? So he goes and he gets her out the tree with like some crazy strings and circles and whatever. And she's like, hey fool, that's crazy, dog. And he's like, I know, huh? That's when she says this.
I've taken quite a liking to you.
So basically she wants to marry him now. And it works out pretty good because this fool's trying to start an army. And if you're gonna start an army, you gotta start somewhere. So she takes this fool back to the village to get ready on that. And with that, we're gonna have to end this first episode right here because there's way too many things to go over right now and I'm pretty sure I skipped something. Next time, we'll go over what happened in the next bit. This was trying to make like antibioticos or whatever. So if you like what you see, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what other anime you want me to tell you what's happening, alright? Y con eso, hasta luego.